All right, live take two.
Welcome everybody to the Plant Empowered Woman Group. We are doing a cook chat and chow down with Dr. Patel today and his lovely wife, Jessie.
Hello, everyone.
Let me know if you're on, if you can hear me. We had a tiny little glitch just before, so we are a second late. Please, somebody let me know that you can hear me and that we are good to go. Hey, Carlin, nice to see you. Hello, hello. Linda, nice to see you. Okay, so Dr. Patel, tell us who you are. For those of you who don't know us, this is Dr. Patel. Go ahead.
So, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Patel. I'm a board-certified endocrinologist and lifestyle medicine physician. So I focus heavily on using the principles of whole food plant-based lifestyle, including good sleep, activity, lower stress, on helping treat and potentially reverse most of the lifestyle diseases like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So it's exciting to be here with Naomi and David and my wife Jessica to be on this live stream again.
Yeah. So Dr. Patel comes to our Redo It retreat that we do at Goldhead Branch State Park in Florida, and that retreat is happening in May this year. And he does a special Redo It RX, which is like a prescription that each one of you can make up for yourself using the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine that he was just talking about. And today we are going to be talking about one of them, well, 2 of them. We're going to be talking about a whole food, plant-based, no oil way of eating and making this amazing layered curry dish. And then we're going to be talking about how sleep affects your health, and how food affects your sleep, and how sleep affects your health. So we're going to take it all the way through and see how a whole food plant-based diet can improve your sleep. So if you're on here today, let me know whether or not you sleep excellent or whether or not you have problems sleeping. And then after we do the main part of getting everything in the Instant Pot, we're going to talk about and answer some of those sleep questions, okay? So let me know in the comments how you're sleeping. All right, so tell us, both of you, what are we going to be making today? Because this smells amazing.
So there's a traditional Indian dish from the part of India that I'm from called Undhiyu, which involves a pretty long technique of making vegetables in an earthen pot with a lot of spices. This is a simplified version of it. So it's loaded with a lot of vegetables and starchy vegetables too. So it's a pretty complete dish. If you chose to just eat that by itself, it would be quite filling and you can have multiple servings of it. But that's what we will be showing today.
This smells amazing, and it has like a paste here that he's going to show us what goes in it that I have never seen before. And I love seeing these traditional Indian dishes, but without all the oil. So let's see who's on here before we get started. Deborah Ann is asking, please send me the info on the retreat. So Deborah, I will definitely send you that info after this live stream is over. Susan says she sleeps pretty well. And Susan, I think I know you're already following a whole food plant-based way of eating. So that definitely helps. Susan says, I sleep well, but not enough. Susan, I think you get up early in the morning for your job, and that gets in the way of that. Kathleen says, I wake up every night between 2 and 3:45 and 3. Wow. Okay. Lorraine says, I wake up quite a bit in the night. So we're going to try to solve some of those problems. Miriam says, wake up at 2 a.m. Scarlett says, having problems sleeping. I started tracking with my Fitbit, and I finally slept 8 hours last night, which is my goal. Before last night, I was averaging 5 to 6 hours. That's tough when it goes on for a long time of 5 to 6 hours. Hey, Ava, how are you? Carlin sleeps well. Okay, so.
One night sleep deficit can change the way 700 different genes work in your body.
Wow, 700 genes, one night's sleep.
Yeah. So
Wow.
You're supposed to get at least 8 hours.
Here's Dave.
That's it. You're supposed to get at least 8 hours to be healthy. That's what they say.
Well, wasn't
I've
it
seen all the
7
graphs on it.
7 to 8.
and the quality of the sleep is even more important than the quantity.
Quality more important than
You could
quantity.
be eating 8 hours. I'm not eating.
Sleeping.
You could be sleeping 8 hours, and still, if you're not getting the right quality of sleep, then you won't get the benefits that you should be getting.
So by quality, do you mean what they're talking about? Waking up?
Yeah. So you're getting good deep sleep in the first part of the sleep, and then you get the REM sleep where you dream in the second half of the sleep, and you're not getting awakened frequently.
Yeah, that's what you want. Okay, so let's get started with this recipe. Donna also says she wakes up 2 to 3 times. Ava says never slept more than 4 to 6 hours. That is tough when it wears on. Okay, we're going to talk about sleep as soon as we get the stuff in the pot, right? So if you've been wanting to learn an Instant Pot, we're going to talk about that as well. So what do we need to do to get started?
So the main binding that is in this recipe is this green paste, which is basically made in a food processor. We'll have the recipe in detail, which Naomi will add to the video.
Yeah, I'll add the post.
Here, let me see it.
Has to be typed
But
up.
we have some modifications there.
Yeah, don't read it all out loud. We're making this the simple way.
To show all the stuff is in there, there are some green chilies in this paste.
See these green chilies? How cool are they?
There's a little piece of ginger.
Jesse says that these green chilies are at Walmart.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
And then a few cloves of garlic.
Lemon juice.
Half a lemon juice. There is powdered peanuts, or you can just put the peanuts itself and it's going to blend up in the food processor. There is
Lots of sesame
seeds.
Yum. If you were on the bread live stream, you know that I love toasted sesame seeds.
There is turmeric powder.
Good cancer fighter.
Lot
Good
of
inflammation fighter.
There's red chili powder.
Red chili powder. Look at that. Look at the color of this, you guys. It is so red. You guys look at the color of that. You get these at an Indian spice shop,
Yes,
right?
so there are a few different types of red chilies.
It smells so
And
good.
this is called Kashmiri red chili. So there's a
Kashmiri.
portion, the state in India in north called Kashmir. And there, those chilies have more color and they're not as hot. So, you get the antioxidants.
Without the heat.
Yeah.
What's that?
And this is the Garam Masala, which is a mix of 9 different spices, which you can get ready-made Garam Masala in
Look
the
at
Indian
that.
stores.
You can get it at Sprouts.
Oh.
Whole
There is-
Foods,
there is-
I just want to say this smells a lot different than what you get in the jar of McCormick Garam Masala.
No, you have to get it from an Indian. You have to get the Garam Masala from an Indian store.
Smell this, Dave.
Wow.
Isn't that good?
That is
So
amazing.
there is
Really does have a good kick to it.
clove.
Oh, I smell the sweetness of the cinnamon and the whatever else is there.
We also keep some shredded.
Doesn't show up
Coconut,
at
yeah, it's-
all
it's-
on white.
It's white on white.
Yeah.
Put it on there.
Yeah, there it is.
There you go. It's a chunk of frozen shredded coconut. Yep.
And then there is lots of cilantro. This is just a sample, but there are like 2-3 bunches worth of cilantro in this.
And the peas.
And green peas.
Which is my favorite. I love green peas.
So the
My
green-
absolute favorite stuff.
So the green peas are what makes this such a good paste. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Can I do this? Can I just show? So you see how this is like a totally gorgeous paste and it sticks together. You can pat it down, it sticks together. And it's the peas that does that.
And it has a little bit of salt to taste.
Mhm.
And that's it.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That,
So this
not
will be
these-
going in the tempering.
Okay, so let's get started. So this smells amazing. And I was saying to Jesse, like, what else could you do with this? I thought I would like to put it just on rice. Keep it in the fridge and put it on
the
rice.
Oh, you can put it on your bread.
Oh.
Stuff it with vegetables. Have it maybe with smashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
Who thinks that that's a good idea to make this with mashed potatoes?
You can really enhance the nutrient content of mashed potatoes with
Yes.
adding this.
Oh, that's
It's all
true.
about adding nutrients
It's
to your food.
Like I always say when I do food videos, and in my groups, I say, what else can you add to this? What else can you add to this to bump it up, right? So this is something that you could really keep in the fridge and add it.
Yeah.
Can this be frozen and so
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
you could freeze it in ice cube trays? Or
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm totally doing that.
You have to take it out early, maybe a couple hours early to let it thaw.
Oh my
But you
God.
can make it in big batch and freeze it up in smaller portions.
Yep.
Smells really damn good. Okay, what do we got to do here?
So before for tempering, we have
Hold
the
it up a little higher.
mustard seeds. These are the black mustard seeds. Then you have the caraway seeds, and then you have the cumin seeds, and just half a teaspoon of Asafoetida.
Ah, the hing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
hing.
So is
So
there an Indian spice
Put
mix?
this later.
Go ahead. Is there an Indian spice mix you can get in the store that you can add to this so you don't have to temper the spices or whatever? Is there?
Yeah, you can get the cumin powder, mustard powder, and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but
All right.
there's the
But
whole spices
spices-
augments the flavor.
Flavor, yeah.
Right.
And
Okay.
it maintains the nutrient content longer because there's a natural coating by nature.
Right.
It's like flax seeds.
Oh,
If you powder
yeah.
up the flax seeds, then they will lose the omega content if it's.
Fat. Yes, that's right. Thank you. I see what you're doing. You're like, get this in the pot, you.
That's right, let's go.
She just grabbed it and took it.
And then once it's
So
you'll have to.
So we definitely
So
want to
put-
do
We
that.
put all the three seeds.
Mhm.
We haven't put the Asafoetida, the hing in.
Okay.
We're gonna wait till like
We'll let this crack up a little bit.
So we're
And-
waiting for it to roast and crack open. And the reason I was asking if it can be bought in powder form because sometimes people are busy and they're
Yeah.
coming home from work and they just want to be able to put a
Yeah.
whole food plant-based meal in the pot, and I don't want to make it. So I always want to give like the two choices.
choices, yeah.
So you can,
Oh, I smell it.
You can skip it altogether and just put sesame seeds.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you have the sesame in the stuffing, and you can just put sesame in there.
Mm.
And if you have mustard seeds, you can put mustard seeds and be done with it.
You can just do what you have.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
So-
can be as elaborate or as simple as possible.
So tell us what you were. So you were talking before about the inner lining of the Instant Pot, and you're saying you should always pick a stainless steel one instead of one with a coating, right? So
Start putting all the vegetables in.
Yeah, so we'll work on the vegetables
right
and then
ahead.
we'll talk about that.
okay, let
So,
me check
In
the.
terms of the vegetables, we have the smaller eggplant, but you can get the big eggplant and cut it up.
And see, these are not peeled. The skin is on,
Yeah,
so
the
that's
skin is
easy,
on.
right? Skin is on. And then we've got
And
potatoes,
then
yams.
we have the
Oh, I smell the
yellow
spices.
potatoes.
Yeah.
and
Yellow
then-
potatoes. Who here likes those yellow Yukon Gold potatoes that taste buttery but aren't? Those are my favorite.
And then we have the
Sweet
yams,
potato.
the
Regular.
sweet potatoes that we get. And we also have Indian yam, which is purple, but you can replace it with the purple sweet potatoes that we get here. Or you can just put more of the
Sweet
the
potatoes.
sweet potatoes.
Okay, let's do this. So we take these out of the way. Give them all to Dave.
And we make a layer of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing is we're layering. So he's putting that on top of the vegetables we just put in. And if you notice here, we've got a whole bunch of more vegetables to put in.
So now we put everything.
So,
So do you layer it on top? So he's
Yeah,
pressing it down on top. I wonder if I could show that.
You don't
You
want
Watch
to.
the waters.
No, it's maybe cold.
Look, I can do it. Look, y'all. See, he's making a layer. All right. There we go.
So then
How fun was that, looking in the pot?
this is 4 cups of lima beans, frozen beans. We just rinsed it.
Lima beans, my least favorite bean. So I'm totally excited to like taste this in a completely different way from the way my mother gave me lima beans when I was a little girl. I don't know how you guys, who liked lima beans when they were little?
This is snap beans.
Snap peas, there you go.
Yeah.
Yum.
So I will
This-
put a bunch of that.
This is loaded. This pot is loaded, man, with veggies.
And then we'll add tomatoes.
Does any liquid go in this? I don't
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Look, you guys. You are way over the fill line of this pot. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a little bit afraid.
Now,
For all of you who are afraid of pressure cookers, get ready to watch what's going to happen here.
Cut out the remaining.
Oh my God,
So
that
we're
looks
just chopping
amazing. All right, see, she's putting another layer on. So I like this whole layering approach.
sorry.
I have
Now
to
to
tell
add the
you,
water.
Yep.
and then it's going to sink down a little bit, you
Yeah.
think? Okay.
Not much.
Ooh, do you hear the sizzle? Let me know if you guys can hear the sizzle. Oh, Susan loves lima beans. Liz loves Yukon Gold. Evelyn loves lima beans. Oh, okay, so I'm in the minority, whatever. Everybody loves lima beans. Oh, Susan, yay, Susan. She says, same here. They were slimy and awful. I love them now, though. So I'm getting ready to love these lima beans right now. I'm totally getting ready for it. All right, so let me just be clear. He is way above the fill line, but because the vegetables were so chunky, they are going to sink down,
Yeah.
and it's really going to be okay. All right.
So we start here.
Bingity
Is it
bong.
closed?
And this goes into
In the middle, it's closed.
Yeah, so you've got it. Turn it all the way around. There you go.
so it's on
There
the,
you go.
on the
Sealing.
ceiling.
Yes, it has to be sealed.
And
We're
we
gonna
put
set it-
6 minutes.
Manual.
You gotta go
first.
manual first.
Manual. There you
You
go.
can see who does.
Oh, you have to turn it off first. Go
Yeah, you gotta-
off.
Go to
The red button. Look at Dave go the red button. You know the instant
I've
pot.
worked
He
that
knows the
before.
instant-
So
You
it
got
has
6
6, and
minutes.
now I
And there you go.
start.
That's all you
it.
gotta
It
do.
starts by itself.
You're done.
That's
Okay.
it. You can tell who does the cooking around here, and it's not him.
Yeah.
There you go. See, it's on now, so that means it's gonna be ready to go.
That means
So it's probably
done.
gonna take 20 minutes to actually get 6 minutes, but that's okay. We got plenty to talk about.
All right. Anthony says, I think the lima beans taste like little mashed potatoes when you bite them.
They have a very buttery taste.
I can't wait. I'm so excited about lima beans now after this whole discussion. Deborah heard the sizzle and loves lima beans. Okay. All right. So now, so here's what I want you guys to notice. Did you notice just how many different kinds of starchy carbohydrates went in that pot? So what we have? We had yams, potatoes, blue potatoes, eggplant, lima beans. What else was a starch? Like,
With potato, sweet potato,
yeah,
and then lima beans.
the pea
Peas.
thing. So Dr. Patel, how can you eat so many carbs? Like, how can we eat a big pot of those carbs, a giant bowl of it, and all of us remain so thin and healthy? Or how can people with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, prevent or reverse that condition?
So
Eating this way.
So the 2 words that we need to understand, one is nutrient density, and second is caloric density. So
Yeah.
if you eat foods which are loaded with nutrients, which means vitamins and minerals and
Antioxidants, fiber,
phytonutrients,
fluids.
that's enhancing the value to the food. And caloric density means that what is the number of calories in a pound of a particular food. So if you take oils, those are 4,000 calories a pound, very high.
Yeah.
But if you take any kind of starchy or non-starchy vegetables, if you take any type of fruits, if you take any type of whole grains, and any beans and lentils, they're all less than 600 calories per pound.
Wow.
So you can pack in more food and still get less calories. All that fiber and nutrients, phytonutrients, will actually get you satiated faster. So you can eat more food loaded with fiber, which really slows down the breakdown of sugar. So your body doesn't get all the glucose all in one go. It gets it very gradually.
It doesn't get that sugar spike or glucose spike that you're afraid of, that you think you're afraid of from eating carbs.
And if you're insulin resistant, which is causing type 2 diabetes, initially when you do have this kind of foods, you may see some sugar increases because your body is just very inflamed and insulin resistance is very high. But as you continue to eat that way, it starts leveling off.
What I've seen, so I have worked with clients who are very obese, who have very high glucose levels and very high A1C levels, and they have glucose meters and all that stuff, and they test themselves every day. And like on day 1 and day 2, the glucose is falling fast, and they can't believe it.
Yeah.
After eating a whole bunch of beans and rice.
Yeah, it doesn't take months or weeks.
No.
In a matter of days, I've had patients who were taking 150 to 200 units of insulin a day. Within 8 days, come off insulin if they really go 100%.
Yeah.
Now,
we talk about that 100% in this group all the time.
If you decide to dabble in it, then you will get dabbling results.
Yeah,
So-
up, down,
So
mostly up.
if you want to really have the proof of the pudding, then you got to go in, even for a short time. You may say, okay, I'm not committing anything more than 2 weeks.
Do your own experiment.
But do 2 weeks and be honest to yourself and do it 100%, and you will see benefits with improving energy. Your bowel movements will get better. You will
It's all
feel
about the
more
bowel.
light.
I'm telling you.
All about the bowels.
You got to have a good garbage disposal system.
A good garbage disposal system.
One thing I need to interject. He talked about 14 days of doing a whole food plant-based way of eating and changing. And it changed my life in 14 days because all of my allergies went away in 14 days. I was allergic for 52 years. Everything that happened to me, all the shots I used to get and pills I used to take for my respiratory allergies, everything went away in 14 days. I felt 1,000% better, but I didn't have red, blurry eyes. I didn't have impacted sinuses. I didn't have any of the inflammation or any of the pain that I had or any of the aches or anything just after 14 days alone.
And we didn't even know that was going to happen. He did it just because I came home from vegan coaching certification school, and he knew that I was going to be serious about this. And also, while I was away, he went to the doctor and had high cholesterol results. And so when I came back, he said, I think I'm going to start eating what you're eating. And I was like, okay, cool. And literally that 14 days later, all of a sudden his brow wasn't swollen. He used to have a swollen brow like Herman Munster. You guys remember Herman Munster from the Munsters?
Well, that's because your sinuses are impacted.
Yeah,
They're not
used to be
impacted
all
anymore.
swollen
They're just
there.
not. It doesn't happen. It was both. It was below the eyes. It was above it. It was
the eye.
horrible.
And he made all that
Horrible.
noise of the sneezing and the watery eyes. He has like things stuck up his nose. I mean, it was terrible. And
It was bad.
And to have
Horrible.
that kind of relief where you could be like, oh my God, I can breathe today. It was really quite amazing. So when you do what Dr. Patel says and you give this a try, you don't know what great feelings are going to even happen. You don't even know.
And once you start feeling that good, you're like, I'm never going back. There's no reason. Nothing's going to make it happen. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. It feels so good now and so comfortable that I don't have that problem anymore. And that's the way it is.
So if you've experienced that, if some of you ladies are already following a whole food plant-based diet and you've lost some weight or you've had reversal of some symptoms, let us know in the comments. so that other women know that they can do it too? Let's see. Anthony says, in the Plant Empowered Women's group, Anthony says, I used to be 256 pounds and on high blood pressure pills. Now I eat twice as much and weigh in the 190s and no pills. Wow. When did you adopt a whole food plant-based diet? Aren't you Scarlett's friend? Wow, that is amazing. That is totally amazing. Anna, nice to see you on the call. This is Dr. Patel that I was telling you about. So you'll be able to meet him right here and right now. Say hi to Anna. She just joined.
Hey Anna, how you doing?
Okay. So so that was the answer to the question of how can you have so much starch, like we just filled this pot with, and reverse diabetes and maintain your weight so easily. And
so I, like David shared his transformation. I have a story of mine too.
Let's hear it.
So I used to be a dairy junkie. I was vegetarian growing up, but I had a
like
lot
most Indian people.
That has changed quite a bit lately. Whole different topic.
Another
But,
live stream.
yeah. So, but I had a lot of dairy in my diet. I would have, they started with a glass of milk with turmeric.
So of course it was cancer-fighting milk.
Ended with a glass of milk, and I would literally go anywhere from half a pound to a pound of yogurt a day.
Yeah, he loves yogurt.
Homemade yogurt. I would just fill up a bowl of yogurt and put some cumin powder and
Cancer-fighting yogurt.
and just eat it like that. I could eat it for lunch. I could eat it for breakfast anytime. I was always ready. And then there's another.
Always ready for yogurt. Born ready for yogurt.
Yeah. So when I was going through my fellowship and looking up all these studies on plant-based nutrition, I reached a point where I said I need to actually start applying this because I cannot keep reading about it and not applying. And so I went dairy-free just overnight, and in 3 weeks, I was not exercising. I was eating more because I had stopped my significant intake of yogurt and milk. I lost 20 pounds.
Wow.
Just like that. And yes, some came off my face, but majority came off my belly.
Show him your belly. Show him what
So
you
What
look
belly?
like.
There's no belly there.
Show him what you look
I
like.
could make a pinch earlier with my side handle, but now I cannot make a pinch.
No pinch.
This has been the same belly for the last 5 years. So in 3 weeks, I lose 20 pounds. I feel better. I'm less tired in the afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get a lot of allergies. Those seem to go down. So
Yeah,
I said,
like Dave said.
let me experiment the other way. So I started having a cup of plain Greek yogurt for lunch every day for a week. I gained back 5 pounds in a
Wow.
week.
So that's an example of the dabbling. So if you say to yourself, "Oh, I'll just keep eating Greek yogurt,"
Yeah.
you will not have the
You
full
will not
results.
get the full
You will
result.
not feel as good as you could, and then you won't know that this is how this.
Can I cut in for a
Sure.
second?
Yes.
So when I went on my eating adventure, I lost 30 pounds in 3 weeks, and I've weighed 172 pounds for the past 3.5 years.
And ladies,
of being
ladies,
over-
don't listen to these guys. It's not correct to lose 20, 30 pounds in 3 weeks. These, no.
It's just the way it happened.
It's not the way
Sorry.
it happens for us.
The metabolism differences do play a role. So you do see men losing weight faster than women, but it is also possible for women to lose weight, but it may take longer
So
than just a
Anthony,
few weeks.
says, and he's the one who said he weighed 256 pounds and now he weighs what?
190.
Okay, he said, yes, he did it a year and a half ago. Scarlett started me. And who do you think started Scarlett? My client Nan from the Whole Food Plant-Based No Oil Plant Powered Woman Weight Loss Group. And Scarlett came to our cave snorkeling retreat last year, and she did all the recipes and went home with them. And so that's when she started Anthony. And so every time you ladies tell each other what you're doing and how it affects you, you are changing lives. Like Evelyn here is saying, my migraines are no longer a problem for me since I started this way of eating. And so Evelyn is also in my Plant Empowered Woman Weight Loss group, and she had no idea. She didn't join it thinking that her migraines were going to disappear. That was just a happy side effect. And the side effects of a whole food plant-based diet are so wonderful and so vast.
And if you're not getting the results, you're not doing it right.
If you're not getting the results, if you're not losing weight and you're not getting the results, you're not doing it right. And you might need help.
So if I finish up on my story, because I have two learning points there. So when I stopped the yogurt again, the weight came off again, and it after a while I added some gym training. I could build more muscle mass without any protein powders, just eating whole food plant-based and a handful of nuts, and keep losing more fat. 3 months after I had been dairy-free, I was at a friend's place and they had made a fruit custard which used heavy cream.
You normally love.
And that used to be my favorite dessert, so I was tempted to have a bowl. And I was up all night with diarrhea, bloating, nausea, things that I could have all day long and not have any issues were making me, sick.
Sorry, not sorry that happens.
So the learning point here is what changes is my microbiome had changed. In 3 months of not eating dairy and not having that casein and all that animal protein and saturated fat, my good microbiome had grown substantially with all the fiber foods that I was already eating, but I was not seeing the benefit. Mm-hmm. And when I reintroduced it, just one meal, my body showed me the difference. So
his body said no.
Yeah, so I didn't have it for a year, and finally we figured out a recipe using soy milk and making the same thing. And now once in a while we make it and enjoy it. So life, you just get intuitive and creative, and you learn to tweak things, and it's an adventure. If you look at this journey as a stressful change, it becomes a drag.
Yeah.
But if you look at it as an adventure that you may, try something, may not work out, you try something else, may work out. So you keep doing it till you find the things that work for you. And it's a fun journey to take.
What I like to add to that is every time something good happens along the journey, you make sure that you tell it to yourself and celebrate it. So if you made a recipe for the first time in your Instant Pot and didn't burn the pot, Carlin, then you tell yourself how wonderful that was, and now I know how to do it. And you start yourself on an upward spiral where good things happen because of your new behavior every day. So even if you do have like an epic food fail, or you go out with friends and they give you all kinds of grief, or something not so great happens, you look for the good parts and you tell them to yourself so that you keep going.
Yeah.
And also the other thing too is I agree with someone, because I can tell if there is milk or a milk product in any of the food that I eat. Like if they try to sneak something by me in a restaurant or there's something in it, I can feel it in my gut when I eat it. It's like, wait a second, I have to stop, because I can feel it in the back of my throat or something. I have a sensitivity to that. Now, the other end of that is that we get this magazine called Forks Over Knives magazine, which is a whole food, plant-based, no oil way of,
a lot of you know that
of a cookbook thing, but it has a magazine that shows you the pictures of the food. So you go through it and you say, hey, I like the way that thing looks. I want to try that. And you eat that, and it's delicious because you know what it's supposed to look like when it's done, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, we go on adventures out in the United States, all around the country. We find different vegan restaurants to go to. We cook our own food. We find the place that you can buy this food at. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's just, how do we put this? Like a scavenger hunt. So you go on vacation and you go out and you say, where am I going to eat today? Where can I find this fantastic place I can eat today? You go on your Yelp or you go on your Google phone and you find these places that are out there that are fantastic, that people have made these recipes up out of their own heads, that this is just fantastic. They've used all different components without using any animals in it, and it tastes just as good, if not better, and it's much better for you, and it's much more fun.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, so he's saying on the retreats, on the longer retreats, we do 1 day out at a restaurant so that you learn how to order at a restaurant, so that you learn how to find one and get a vegan meal there as well. All right.
And my personal experience is that even if it's not a vegan restaurant, if you have a smiling face and as the server. Many times we have found that they themselves may be vegetarian or vegan, and they're more than happy to share their items
make
in
you
the menu,
something,
or
yeah.
they may talk to the chef and make you something that will get you satisfied.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Yeah, Jesse and I were talking about
don't
that
be afraid
before.
to ask.
Don't be
Yeah,
afraid
because
to
we've gone to
ask.
restaurants, you just ask them and just make sure there's no animals in the sauce at an Italian
Mhm.
restaurant, or they'll make you a gluten-free pizza, or they'll work something around to do it because they're professional chefs. They're used to doing this. They're used to peanut allergies and gluten sensitivities and all these other things
Dairy
that people go on. So
allergies.
they know that what they have to do. If you're in a restaurant, if you own a restaurant or you go to a restaurant and that restaurant can't satisfy you, how are they going to stay in business? They have to have a reputation where they're willing to say, yeah, we have that. We can do that for you. No problem.
And if they don't, you should leave.
And the kitchen, for the most part, the chefs, the cooks, they keep cooking the same entrees over and over again.
Yeah, they get
If
bored.
if they get a variation like
Yeah.
this, they're actually happy
to do
to do something different and actually, show their skills and not just keep doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay, let's see what people are saying. Carlin says, myself and 4 others got a virus last week. They're all on the standard American diet. I was over it in 1.5 days and they were sick for 4 to 5 days. Yeah.
Power of your immune system.
Yes. Susan, love what Dr. Patel said a few minutes ago. If you dabble, you'll get dabbling results. That is exactly what I needed to hear. Good. This is wonderful. Susan says that happens for men. Haha. All right. Samantha says, I find if dairy gets back in my diet at any time, I wake up achy, especially in my fingers.
Yeah,
You'll
inflamed.
notice.
Yeah, you've
Inflamed. Yeah. Connie says, what about soy yogurt? Should a person use it?
So there are processed forms of soy, like the soy protein powders and the fake meats made from soy. Those are not the type of soy foods you want to have. But if it's minimally processed or unprocessed forms of soy, so unprocessed is just frozen soybeans or edamame beans,
Mm-hmm.
but making sure those are non-GMO
And
and
tofu.
organic.
Tofu.
And minimally processed is tofu and tempeh, which is again you can easily get organic and non-GMO
Yeah.
products for either of those, or the milk.
So she's asking about
the
yogurt, like
yogurt,
silk
so-
soy yogurt.
So,
I say no.
Yes. Yeah,
Not
the
for
bigger-
somebody. Here's what I'm
big-
going to say. Not for somebody who's overweight. Not for somebody who's struggling with diabetes, type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes, because it will not help you.
You can have it once in a while.
And I
maybe-
wouldn't say that either.
Yeah.
But you know what?
No, but
I-
like someone who is really like I was a yogurt junkie.
A yogurt junkie. Yeah. But again, you have to think about what are the results that you want? What's the transformation that you want for yourself? If you do not want to be sick and overweight anymore, then you will say to yourself, you know what? That's not for me. But instead, I could have all this watermelon over here, and that is for me. So it's kind of like you have to work it through your mind.
I have a question for Soam and Naomi. I got a question for you guys since they brought it up. When was the last time you were sick? I can't remember the last time I had a head cold or that I was sick. I can't remember. I can't.
Mine would be like the cancer or 5 years ago. Or,
Yeah, but that's not a head cold. That's not a flu virus or
well,
anything
that's
like
way
that.
worse than a flu.
So
or a head
all
cold.
growing up, I would keep drinking the turmeric
Milk,
milk.
that cancer-fighting milk.
Yeah. So I would keep getting cold, really, a lot of mucousy cold 3-4 times each year. And I'll always carry big handkerchiefs in my pockets.
Like Dave to stick up his nose.
Yeah,
Because tissues won't be enough.
Oh,
Always had 2 in my pockets all along. And then my skin in India as well as here, every winter my skin will peel off from
not
my
anymore.
hand and my soles, and those 3 months would be so, very scratchy, rough skin while it's peeling off. The year that I stopped dairy, since then I've only had maybe 3 or 4 brief spells of cold. If I had not had good, spells of good sleep, and my immune system was down, and I was going through a season change, like in the fall or spring.
Yeah.
then I would catch a little cold, but it would get over in like 2-3 days.
Like Carlin said, so sometimes I'll feel a tickle and I'll be like, oh man, that girl with the strep throat, she came and hugged me, and then it'll just disappear the next day.
So I go on my green tea with lemon, and I do steam inhalation. I don't take any antibiotics.
Go to sleep early.
And it gets better in 2-3 days.
Okay, let's see.
But my skin hasn't peeled in the last 5 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That really is. Scarlett says, when I was whole food plant-based, my acid reflux stopped. I fell off the program, started eating meat again, and my reflux came back. I knew I needed help and decided to sign up for Naomi's 14-day class. 3 days back, whole food plant-based, and the acid reflux is gone. Yes, people really get rid of their digestive distress quick. Susan says, I love that. Susan says she just bought the Forks Over Knives magazine. Lisa says, will you post the recipe for the green paste?
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to post the recipe for all of this. We have to type it up still. Lisa's asking, could I sub in parsley for some of the cilantro? It doesn't agree with me. So some people don't like cilantro.
Yeah.
So what can they
so
do?
you can put parsley in place of cilantro. It's
Good
really
question. Glad you asked, Lisa. Really glad you asked. Connie's talking about the homemade yogurt that just has soy milk in it. So that's fine.
Yeah, so if it doesn't have all these additives and gums and things
Okay,
like
good.
that,
I'm glad you specified.
that's okay. But again, you want to not have a pound of yogurt like I had. Use it as a flavor.
Yeah. Susan says, the girl across from me at work has been sick for 2 weeks, coughing, gagging, and starting with a fever. I never get a flu shot, and I've had a tickle in my throat, but then it's gone. That's what happens to me. All right. Donna says, definitely helps with acid reflux. Yes. Susan says, something strange happened to me. I used to have eczema, and it went away everywhere but my ears. Any ideas?
Inflammation.
It's still inflammation, and
So
oil
when
causes
inflammation goes down, your
Yeah.
immune system is not attacking your own body cells.
It
Like I
takes
said,
longer in every
I
different
said
people.
skin peeling off, but it was literally like I didn't have any scratching or any itching, but it was ugly. Just literally skin peeling off for 3 months was not. You want to shake someone's hands and you have a very rough hand. So inflammation, eczema is another. Atopic dermatitis, psoriasis.
Yeah.
Those are all related
Yes.
from chronic inflammation. So
chronic inflammation is caused by animal products, but it's also caused by a high sugar. It's caused by the oils. It's caused by food chemicals.
additives.
All of those things relate, and maybe it's even caused by poor sleep and a lot of stress and
700 genes.
700 genes. So let's sort of talk about that. Susan, does that make sense? You keep doing whole food plant-based and stop the oil and stop the vegan junk food and do your own experiment and see if you can go for several weeks and see if it's getting better and better. Okay, so let's.
So the thing you had mentioned earlier, which I was busy in getting things in. So the steel, if you don't have an Instapot and you're getting ready to buy one after watching this, then make sure you get the one that has an inner container made up of steel and not the non-stick. Steel is better than non-stick cookware in terms of
Because non-stick has what?
Teflon and all different types of coatings which are toxic.
When they're heated. Yeah, it leaches into your food and you would be breathing it right there. He's standing in front of the pot. Okay. Anybody have any questions about any of that? Susan says, I just gave up sugar, oil, and processed food. I know that you did. That's why I made a point to say that. But sometimes it takes a little longer to heal skin conditions that are inflammatory. And so you have to keep going.
Depending on the extent and intensity and duration of your inflammation, it may take longer. You didn't reach the state you are overnight.
In 2 weeks.
So it may take longer for you to
I was going to
see
reach across, but I was like, no.
the changes sometimes if it's been really long-standing diseases, but it will get better.
Okay. Okay. Careful of the pot. All right. So let's talk about sleep. How does what you eat affect your sleep?
So when you're
Like,
eating things like this, fruits, whole grains, beans,
Vegetables.
lentils, because of the nutrients and the fiber, you get lower inflammation. Lower inflammation, you have less mucus and airway congestion. Less of that, lower inflammation in the body, you have better sleep.
Does that also maybe because you have less stress and inflammation in your body, it helps you handle stress so that your mind can quiet down and you can then sleep?
So a lot of animal foods are loaded with hormones.
Yeah.
You may say, oh, I get my meat from a local farm, which is completely grass-fed and organic. But what's happening to that animal when it's getting slaughtered? No animal is going to be happy, and all those excess stress hormones that the animal's body is pumping.
What are those? Let's name that. Those emotions.
Adrenaline and cortisol.
No, I want to name the emotions. What are the emotions the animals
fear,
are feeling?
the
You said not happy. Let's call it what it is. They are
It's
afraid. Terrified, horrified, watching the one before them, smelling the smells, hearing the screams. That's what you're eating.
So when that's in their last few moments, all those hormones are being pumped into their body, which is in the meat.
Did you think of that, you guys? Have you thought of that ever before?
So even if
coming into the milk.
Even if you are saying, okay, I'm not looking at this from the viewpoint of animal welfare or animal, benefit, for your own benefit, when you eat meat or milk products, you are getting a lot of hormones coming in that way.
Stress hormones.
You're also getting a lot of stuff that the animal gets from the soil, which has a lot of plastic and toxins. Pollution.
Bioaccumulated pollution.
So you get a concentrated version of it. Especially cheeses are really bad for concentrating the hormones, the pesticides, everything.
Not to mention those problematic animal proteins. So that can disturb your sleep because when
you eat those foods, your whole, our mind and body is all connected. We can have symptoms if we think too much about it in our mind. And if we are sick in the body, we can have symptoms, we can feel down, we can feel depressed. So mind and body is very well connected. So if we put things which are loaded with all those hormones, it's going to disrupt our the way we feel, the way we think. So
I like to sort of say that we're putting in all of that stress and anxiety from the animal, so then we will feel stress and anxiety. And I have noticed in most people that I work with and have ever heard of, that once they stop eating animals, they all of a sudden feel a lot better and lighter in mood, like anxiety, stress.
So I'm digressing just a little bit, but and not to sermonize or anything like that, but any tradition you look at which focuses on self-awareness and enhancing your consciousness, all those Eastern traditions they start with, you can't have a good consciousness if you have a crappy body.
Yeah.
And so to have a good consciousness, you have to have good food. And the food which is, having positive energy is what gives you more energy. So all meat and dairy and eggs is dead.
It's dead.
It's negative energy.
It's actually dead.
If you eat foods which are loaded with positive vibration, that's what you get the benefit of. So I'm saying this in context of, a better mind and having
You could say it in any context because I'm fully vegan. People who follow me know that I am fully vegan for the animals, for the planet, for our health. And so you could say it in any context you want. Okay. So let's see what people are saying. Susan says, can we get Dr. Patel's info? Of course, I always put his info in the post, and I will specifically send you, I will comment a shot of his business card for you. Susan is local in Tampa, so she can come and see you. Do you do telemedicine?
I'm working with one of the physicians from Colorado. They are trying to set up a portal for plant-based physicians. So I'm working on getting telemedicine, yes.
Deborah says, oh my God, I never thought of eating cortisol and stress hormones. Yeah, I want you guys to think about this because it's true. Carlin says, I have found my stress levels and anxiety have decreased and I'm more at ease. And it just naturally happens. You don't really know why. And there's the first reason that you see the health results. And so you realize that you are taking back your health and that you have power, and that feels good. But then the thing that we're talking about here, that you're just not eating those stress and anxiety of the animals anymore. And that happens at the same time.
You know, in India, and this is history over the last, so many years, millennia, the soldiers, the people who guarded kingdoms and, made sure the population was protected. This is like many centuries ago. Soldiers would deliberately eat meat in their diet so that they stay aggressive.
Oh, wow. I never heard that.
Because if you don't eat meat, like there are many tribes and communities.
Peaceful.
They are too peaceful. They are too non-violent. And so if you have a soldier who says, okay, I am so much at peace, I don't care.
That's not going to work.
That's not going to work to protect you. So soldiers would deliberately be served meat in their meals so that they stay more, aggressive.
Wow, that's a story I've never heard, and that is really telling. They know that that's true, but we Americans, we have never heard this. We don't know.
Yep.
Evelyn is saying, what do you eat with the Undhiyu? Rice? We're going to eat it with rice today.
So we're going to have it with brown rice. You can have it with quinoa, brown rice, or you can just have it by itself because it's loaded with all those tubers, the yams and the potatoes. So if you like, you can add grains. If not, you can just have it like that, and you can have 3-4 plates of it.
That's what we're going to do. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Dave, how many plates are you going to have?
I don't know. I have 4 last time?
4
so maybe
last
we'll see if we
time.
can hit for at least 3.
All right. Scarlett says, let us know when you get the telemedicine. Here in Indiana, it's difficult to find a plant-based doctor. Yes, who doesn't push medicine. Okay, so we talked about how the food can negatively affect your sleep. Now, is there anything else you want to add to that? There's lots of things.
So food is one aspect of it, but what we eat, like John mentions, one of our good friends, he's also a coach. Food is the secondary diet. Your primary diet is what you're getting from your phone, from your laptop, from your TV. All the thoughts and emotions that you have constitutes your primary diet. So having mindful eating, it's kind of a misnomer. Mindful, it's full of thoughts.
Yeah.
But the idea being behind that word is that you're focusing on the food and not on some news feed or something on social media, because anything you see in this world is a two-way process. Any relationship, any work you do, you have to put in your time and energy to get the best results.
Yes.
Why would it be different with food?
Why would it be different with food, that you don't need to take time, that you don't need to learn about it, that you might not need help with it? Why would it be different than anything else?
So if you don't focus on the food and you're eating it with the right intention, it's not going to be giving you the best benefits. So if you eat with the right intention and you chew well, that's very important.
Chewing well. I think I falter on that because I
have done too.
Well.
I like to just inhale it and slurp it.
I eat.
So,
He just shovels. Dave is a shoveler.
I'm ready to go.
So when you chew your food at least 30 times, you chew a morsel. There's a saying by many different people from India, Eastern wisdom, that you should swallow your solids and chew your liquids. Now you'll think, what the hell?
What?
Yeah. So you should chew your solids enough that they turn into liquid in your mouth before you swallow it down.
Oh.
And when you drink something liquid, because you want to mix all your enzymes from the saliva into it before you swoosh it down, you should just maybe, try to
I did not
chew
know
on
that.
it a few times before you push it down. So that, because your digestion starts in the mouth, it doesn't start in the stomach or the intestine, it starts in the mouth. So if
Yes,
it's not broken down, your stomach cannot break it down. It's going to come out the other way.
So you can really get more nutrition out of your food also by chewing it better.
So use your natural blender.
Natural blender. This is not sealed. You hear the noise?
No, it's okay. It's at 2. It's fine.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it's gonna.
It's fine.
It should.
We'll have-
Yeah, I think it's gonna need to get a new one.
You might just need a new gasket.
Yeah.
Don't touch. No, don't touch it. No.
You can touch this thing and pop it out if you get a knife. That has happened
But
to me.
we'll also have
It's
to.
at 2 minutes left. Leave it alone. It'll be
Decompress,
fine.
because if
Okay.
we keep it too still, then it's gonna take.
So
a while.
now, when it comes to sleep and food,
So going back to the chewing part.
Yeah.
So if one, you're being mindful,
get it to
focusing
pop
on
up.
the food. You're enjoying each bite, and you're chewing it well. If it means you put your fork down or spoon down between each bite so that it gives you enough time to chew, that's necessary. So you can break down the food so it digests well. If it digests well, you get the benefit, and you don't lose things out through and through.
Also, if you eat a little slower, then your stomach catches up, your whatever thing catches up with the other thing, and then you don't need to eat so much.
Yeah, so you get signals from the brain. When you're chewing, this nerves supply to the brain and tell the brain, if you have chewed enough, you will get satiated faster.
So this is an example of your innate natural food regulation system, right?
Yeah.
The way that we eat junk food, like think about what happens when you rip into a bag of chips and you just inhale it, right? And so your brain does not know that you just ate 3,000 calories of fat. It doesn't know because you didn't chew it and it can't feel it. And so you need to let the chewing and the feeling and the whole system work. And that's what happens when you start eating this way. Even if you eat a lot in the beginning, don't be afraid. Just keep going and let your system heal.
Yep. Just have to wait till it.
So those two things play a big role in how you process your food, because you could be eating whole food plant-based, but you may not get the full benefit if you're not being focused on the food and having some form of prayer. Because we all know about, or we may not know, but there are studies done by a scientist in Japan with water, and he would put water in different cups, and on one cup he would do nothing, on the second cup he will pray, on the third cup he will curse that water, and then he would study the microstructure of those water molecules, and you would see completely different structure. So if it was prayed or some good incantation was done, it will be all symmetric.
Oh, wow.
And the one that was cursed will be so much irregular. So down to the micro, structure of food, if you eat it with the right intention and the right gratitude.
So the intention that it's going to nourish you, that you're thankful for it, that it's delicious, that you are improving your health, that you are coming alive, that all of those kinds of intentions, that can really help fire up your whole health journey with it.
And then you're chewing using your natural blender. So combine those two things, and then taking the time in between the bites so that you're not rushing through. And try to not talk while you're eating.
Oh, that's going to be hard.
For Naomi, definitely that'll be hard.
So you can finish your meal.
He always says, do we have to talk every second of the day?
So what we do is
It's true.
we eat in 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then we sit at the dinner table for another 20, 30 minutes and we talk about the day and whatnot. But while we are eating, we try to focus on the food. So we're getting good benefit of that and doing justice to it. and then we get our family time to talk about the day and whatnot.
Oh my goodness. I never thought about that. Okay. So I think another thing is also like when you eat. So when it's sleep, so if you eat late at night, you will have a disturbed sleep. Is that correct?
So if you eat a meal before 3 hours of bedtime, that's good. You should have 3 hours of no food
Not
minimum
past 7.
before you hit the bed.
3
If you-
hours of no
I gotta
food.
eat pretty quick.
If you cannot do 3, at least 2.
Right.
But 2 is the minimum
Because why?
because you want your stomach to be empty.
Okay, you want an empty stomach.
You want your stomach to have done all the churning and twisting and pass on the food into the intestine by the time you go to bed, so that you don't have the acid reflux.
Yes, so you don't
Because
have acid
if your stomach is
reflux.
still doing its job and you try to fall asleep,
It's coming up.
the esophageal sphincter is not completely closed off, so you have more chances of acid reflux. And if you do have a schedule which doesn't allow you to get 2 hours and you only get maybe an hour, when you go to sleep, you sleep on your left side.
Sleep on
So
the
your
left side.
stomach stays dependent, so it doesn't push food up. If you sleep on your right side or you sleep on your face, that's going to increase your risk of
So
reflux.
all of you who struggle with acid reflux and used to take Tums and all of that, this is for you. This particular little tip is for you.
It's a small tip, but it can do
Yeah.
wonders.
It can do wonders. And what about drinking at night like that?
So try to focus on getting your hydration in the early part of the day as well as your middle of the day, and I'm not saying that I've done it 100%. I've been guilty of that myself. That sometimes I realize in the evening that I haven't drank enough water, and then I try to catch up. And if you do that, then you're going to be up at night using the bathroom,
Yes.
which interrupts your sleep.
So for all of you guys who said you're getting up 2 and 3 times a night, is it because you have to pee? Is that the reason? Or is it,
Yes, because I have to pee. That's why I get up twice during the night.
or is it that you're stressed? Or is it that your mind is racing and you just
Just
can't
saying.
sleep? Or what is it?
Usually there are multiple, factors. It's late
Usually
foods.
it's once, sometimes it's twice.
It's waking up at night. If it's too much hydration in the evening hours. If you're on a blood pressure pill, which may be a water pill, that keeps you up.
okay.
Some of the diabetes medications can also make you pee more.
Okay.
So there are a lot of factors, but the third important aspect, we talked about mindfulness about the food, the chewing.
Sorry.
No.
The third important part is what are you doing before you go to bed?
What are you doing before you go to bed?
It's a routine. So
Yes.
if you are on the TV or in your phone or you're on your iPad,
Guilty.
and you're racing 100 miles an hour in thoughts, suddenly if you want to switch that to 0, that's not going to happen.
Mhm.
So if you can do for
These
an
ladies
hour,
are texting me all day and all night long wanting to go vegan for their health.
yeah. So,
I have to
you
answer
should
this
have
with
you should have a 8 p.m. Media
I can
curfew.
never say no to somebody who wants to change their health. Because you know why? If I don't answer, she'll lose her nerve by the next day. It's very true.
Yeah.
People, when they get the intuition to do it, or they finally are like, I'm going to ask her, and it'll be 10 o'clock at night.
So be kind on Naomi and don't bother her after 8 p.m.
But bother me in the morning because I'm fresh. I'm a morning person.
Yeah, finger at 5 in the morning.
No, not 5 in the morning. 7 a.m.
So when you have a routine, you have 30 minutes to make the routine, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you can do, an hour, but it should involve some kind of nice relaxing music. It should involve taking a warm shower. It should involve reading something nice that's not a Dan Brown novel. I would stay up to read that.
I'm reading Judgment Detox
Yeah.
right now. Anybody else for Judgment Detox? Gabrielle Bernstein?
And another great way, which works two ways, helps you de-stress and unwind and also helps you sleep better, is journaling.
Journaling,
So
yeah.
have a habit of journaling, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you write down all your thoughts, what happened through the day.
Just a brain dump.
So
Dump it
Caitlin
out.
wants to know how much water you're supposed to drink during the day. I was always told it's a gallon of water a day.
Yeah.
So it depends on the season, it depends on your activity, it depends
Depends on
on
you.
a lot of other things.
So
So
there's not a
the
number.
two simple things that I have patients or people to do is your mouth should feel moist all the time. If you're having to do that to talk, you're not drinking enough water. And the color of your urine should be light yellow or transparent. If it's staying transparent and you're peeing a lot, you're probably drinking too much. And if it's staying small amount and very dark yellow, then you're not drinking enough. So
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle is where you want to stand. If it's a cloudy day, it's a rainy day, you don't perspire as much, you start producing a lot dilute urine in spite of not drinking much water.
Right.
Versus if it's a hot day and
You
you're
need more
perspiring more, then you're gonna need more water. So
Good
depending
question.
on that, you have to change it. I won't go by number of glasses or ounces, but by moisture in the mouth and the color of the urine.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see what people are saying. Donna says, an Ayurvedic practitioner told me to chew 50 times before swallowing.
Yeah, I try to do 30.
50 is a lot.
Yeah.
So let's make
But
it
even if
something we can do.
But 30 is very easy.
Yeah.
You can chew 30 bites within 30 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think about intermittent fasting? 16 off and eating 8.
That's great.
Yeah.
When we don't eat, our body gets
Yes.
time to go around and find out defective cells and put them through a process where they break down into the building blocks. So
This makes perfect sense. When you're constantly eating, your body's constantly focused on digestion and it can't do all the other healing and maintenance things it needs to do.
80
Is that
to
right?
85% of our body's energy on a daily basis is involved in digestion.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but
85%.
I love to eat, so I'm just not fasting. I'm sorry. I'd love to eat. The food's so good.
It's not exact. So intermittent fasting, what she's saying is 16 hours off, of which 8 are you're sleeping, right? And then, right?
Another 8 of
Yeah.
after sleep, but it's very easy to do.
It's not hard because if you think about eating between 9 and 5, for example,
So
that's 8
the
hours.
way you can do 16 and 8 is you eat between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m.
Yeah,
and you can modify that time range based on your schedule.
your own window.
So you eat breakfast.
good idea,
you
Susan.
eat breakfast at 10. You eat your bigger meal around 2, and then a smaller meal, which is your dinner or supper, by 6. You may have a snack of fruits before supper if you like. But from 6 p.m. to 10 a.m., you get 16 hours of no food.
Yeah, journaling, definitely. Definitely. So
The music in that 5-10, so you can do both. So you can do 10 minutes of journaling and you can listen to the relaxing music before you go on for your shower. And so you can, in 15 minutes, you can have your night sleep routine. So you start music, start journaling, 5, 7, 10 minutes, and then you get a shower in 5 minutes, and you're in the bed. You're going to be a lot better sleep.
So, Jesse, tell me if this happens to you. I can't take a shower right before bed because then my hair is all wet.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
Yeah, so
So you
that's
can take a shower and then do the journaling and the music.
Push it to the
Okay.
inside. There you go.
push it to
No,
the-
push, no.
Oh, I mean,
There you go. Let the pressure off. There you go.
And you can turn it to off.
yeah,
It is. You
it's
should
turned
turn
off.
it off.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, so this is so interesting. So now, anything else about food and sleep? How
So,
food
the
affects
routine,
routine.
and then if you're having hard time falling asleep, melatonin may help you to get the sleep quality going
Okay, I
while you're
wanna-
working on, changing your routine as a short-term strategy.
Okay.
But
Now, tell us, like, how does sleep affect your health? You said the one thing. Say it again. It affects 700
so
genes. What does that mean?
one night of sleep deficit activates 700 different genes, which should not be activated.
Oh,
there are-
should not be activated.
Yeah, so
like what does that mean?
there are genes which make more inflammatory proteins, and there are genes which turns on cancer cells.
Mhm.
So cancer protein production. So you
So
don't
isn't
want
this-
those cells to get those genes to get activated.
This is interesting that foods that are inflammatory activate inflammatory genes, and so it's like a cycle.
Yeah,
Of
so
inflammation.
if your sleep is affected, so I've had people who are eating really great, but because of their routine or whatever they're doing in their evening hours, they're not getting good sleep. And I've seen sometimes that bad sleep routine has really sabotaged their
They're
benefits
good.
of eating whole food plant-based.
Wow, cool. So I'm all for like just sleeping better to lose weight and improve my health. Like that doesn't seem like a hard thing to do, right? To improve the whole nighttime routine. Oh yeah.
Show them.
Yes,
the top.
yes I do.
Hold on, let me get out of the way.
Yeah, get out of the way. All right, there it is.
So we'll just
You're gonna
mix
stir
it
it up a
up.
little bit. Okay. All right, we're gonna get it plated. Deb says, me too, would love to start meditation. So for anybody who wants a little nighttime meditation stuff, there's tons of stuff online. There's tons of apps for this. Me and Dave have listened to Deepak Chopra do
Yeah.
guided
Yeah,
meditation.
the guided meditations are fun.
He
They're
is
really
so
good.
calming.
Yeah. His voice itself is very soothing.
And what he says happens to just be just
Yeah,
right.
they have done 21-day free with, like they did it 2 years ago with Oprah.
Yeah.
The 21 days of guided meditation, 20 minutes.
So just go on YouTube and search for that. And then what's that app? There's a good meditation app people always tell me about that.
There are so many.
There's so many. So if you
So
want
what I do is,
Yeah.
so one other thing, if you go on, YouTube, not that I'm trying to get you to more media and more blue light, but
Can you see
if
the
you go
pot?
on YouTube and type
That's good.
528 hertz relaxing music,
520 megahertz.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know
That-
that's your heartbeat, right?
that has been shown to trigger your parasympathetic nervous system,
Yeah.
which helps you come down from that sympathetic drive, that flight or fight mode. You're in more calmer, controlled, safe mode, which also helps you fall asleep faster.
And you know what other kind of music is like that? Is classical music. Is naturally the tempo and the megahertz for that. Did you know that? Classical music.
Yeah,
Is that-
there are certain formations and type of songs in Indian classical music which
Yeah.
are designed to affect different organs in the body,
Wow.
because it's all resonance.
Go ahead.
Each tissue has a certain natural frequency in our body.
Mhm.
So when you sing or listen to particular frequencies of music, it creates resonance in particular parts of tissues.
That sounds lovely.
So based on the frequency, you can address specific tissue. There's a whole aspect of medical music therapy.
Medical music therapy. There's something to Google and look for on YouTube. Definitely. Wait, that's too much. Okay. Deb says, do you recommend valerian root tea, or is that considered a medicine?
It's an herb. It's
It's an
definitely
herbal
an
tea,
herb,
yeah.
and it does help.
Hibiscus tea?
Hibiscus tea is more for blood pressure. Chamomile tea would help you calm down.
Now remember, if you're drinking tea at night, you're drinking water at night. And if you have a problem with peeing at night, then you don't want to go drinking tea past what time?
I mean, if it has any caffeine, then
Well, no,
it should be
herbal tea, yeah. Herbal
I would
only,
still keep
everybody.
it before 8 p.m.
Before 8 p.m. Okay. Susan says, I use the 10% Happier app and the Deepak Oprah Meditations 21 day. The new 21 day is starting February 9th. Good to know. Good to know. What's the name of the music app? It's not a music app. He said 528.
Yeah, just type that in the YouTube search bar.
Yeah, 528 hertz in the YouTube. Yum. So did you notice that she was sprinkling salt in here? And I know a lot of you are focused on, you know, if you have high blood pressure, that you shouldn't have salt. And what I want to say about that is that if a little bit, and I'm not talking like a lot, I'm talking about if a little bit of salt is going to help you love the food that you're eating and really want to eat it, then it's worth adding it. To where if you don't add it and you don't like what you're eating, then you're not going to stick with it. And the most important thing is sticking with it. Okay? So I just wanted to clarify that. Okay, does anybody have any other questions? So anything else you want to say about how sleep affects your health that we did not say already?
Yeah, so we talked about the music.
Are these the forks we're using?
Or we can just use spoons.
Oh, spoons.
Yeah. Do you want smaller spoons or?
No, I like a nice big spoon.
Okay.
Dave, this has more than, that's more for you. I think that looks like more for Dave. Here we are. Look at that plate. Yum. Oh God, that smells like nothing I've ever cooked.
It will be hot. It will be really hot.
That's very hot.
We're used to burning our mouth on the food. We eat it right out of the pot anyway. That's the way it goes.
That is spicy. I'm telling you. Oh, nice. What's this? What's this? Coconut?
Curry.
This is coconut milk?
Coconut curry.
Oh, yum. Is it spicy also?
No, it's not spicy.
Do I put it on this?
You can
Yeah,
put it
you
on
can,
rice
yeah.
or on that, yeah.
Here you go. Yum.
You want some?
Oh, you want some, Dave? I'm sorry.
Here, I got some.
This tastes like nothing I've ever cooked before. Well, I don't know
That's why we come here, so we get to eat stuff
Yeah.
we never ate before.
because I want to show you guys these traditional Indian dishes. Isn't this amazing? Excuse me, David. Let's see. It looks amazing. It looks yummy. Thank you so much. So, we are going to work
Is it spicy
on.
for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna work
I'm not
on.
Indian. I'm not used to this stuff.
I know he said that you guys like spicy.
We do
We
like
do
it
like
spicy.
spicy food.
Okay.
Is it too spicy for you?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay. All right. Because you're the one, you know. I don't want. So here's the thing. The food you eat affects your sleep, and your sleep affects your health. And Dr. Patel went through quite a few different ways that you can up-level your sleep. Now, Dr. Patel does the Redo It Retreat with us, and he does a special session with the group. Deb, you've been to that, so you know what that's like. And he goes through the 6 pillars. Now, we just did the sleep one just here, but there's the other 6, and what are they? The food,
The other
the
5.
stress,
Food,
exercise.
activity, stress reduction, good sleep, detox, and good emotional health.
That's
mindfulness.
7.
No, it's 6.
All right, well,
Food, activity,
I can't
sleep,
count.
lower stress, detox, and good mind.
Yeah. So we go through all of those pillars with the same sort of care and attention to what can you do in your own life to improve that. And it was so powerful last time. If you are interested in coming on the Redo It Retreat, definitely let me know. I'll send you the information. I'm going to create an event in the group, in this Plant Empowered Woman group,
Yes.
for you to find it.
You don't want to slow down because it's still pretty hot.
Yeah, Dave doesn't wait. He does not wait. So this is amazing.
It's delicious.
We are gonna go eat. Anybody who wants to work with me in the Plant Empowered Woman group, I have space for 2 women, and you can go ahead and message me, or you can go directly to chat.goingveganforhealth.com, and you can fill out my application to book in a time to talk to me about it. Tell me about your health issues and your weight
Yeah,
and
okay.
how you want to take back your
I want it
health.
just the way it is.
And let's talk about what it is that you need to do next. And for anybody who wants to get with Dr. Patel, if you are local to the Tampa area, and I know we have a lot of people on here who are, just go ahead and message me. I will send you an image of his business card. I'm also going to put it in the post, and I'm also going to post the recipe tomorrow. Tomorrow? Are we going to be able to get it done by tomorrow?
I'll email it to you tonight, so you can put it on tonight if you like.
We'll try to do it tomorrow. How's that? Just in case, you know, it's a long recipe. Plus, we got to have pictures and all this other stuff. Okay. So, any other last questions before we do our chowing down? Can you have Raida with that? That's yogurt, right?
Yes, if you have it with almond yogurt or soy yogurt, that's
Again,
okay.
if you
But
are
as a
overweight,
flavor,
yes.
As a flavor,
If you are overweight and you are suffering high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high glucose, you want to leave the processed yogurt things to the side for a while. Okay? Okay, I love Indian food. Yes. Susan says, can you send me info on the retreat? Which one are you interested in? The Redo It retreat, right? We have 3 retreats going on right now. Anybody can ask me for info on the cave snorkeling retreat, the Redo It retreat with Dr. Patel, plant-based Dr. Patel, and also the Arcasanti Vegan Awakening retreat happening in Arizona in March. We have 2 single spots and 1 couple spot left on that one. Evelyn says, I can't wait to make this dish. And Evelyn will be at the Redo It retreat as well. Thank you for the demo and the added discussion about things for our health. Okay, so that's it. Dr. Patel, any last words before we chow down?
Eat whole plants.
Eat whole plants.
Be mindful and get good sleep and move.
And take back your health because you can, right?
Yep.
Give me a high five.
Power in your hands.
Power in your hands. I like that. That's good. All right, everybody. Have a great, great night.